Oh, how's everybody doing out there? How are we doing in the world? Greetings to the world. I'm calling you speaking from the land of America. I'm talking to today a very, very good friend of mine, the dynamic Mr. D. He is on an international call to make this podcast today. So everybody give it up for Mr. D here to join us today. Yeah, clap, 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 clap. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. It's good talking to you.
It's good
It's
talking.
been a while. It's been too long.
That's for real. It's been a few months, man. It's been, close. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a little while since we've seen each other overseas. Just so everybody knows a little background. Mr. D and I, we know each other from overseas, and he's just a great dude who's into helping people. And as y'all have all heard me on this show, I say many a times, to me, resilience is what Stallone said in Rocky 37 or whichever was. Ain't about hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, right? That's what it's about. How can we take the hits and keep moving forward? And about how hard we hit, how hard can we get hit and keep moving forward? So in saying that, laying out my they're probably nauseated at this point of hearing my definition of it. But you're a guest here, Mr. D, and making time with us. What is resilience to you, my friend?
I would say the same thing. I was just thinking about it yesterday, and I was thinking about that same quote, actually. I probably heard it on this podcast. So, but yeah, I would say just resilience to me is a response a positive response to resistance. That's the easiest way I could say it. But for me personally, it's problem solving. Like I look at a lot of things in life as if it's a problem, I'm going to figure out how to solve it, and I just do that for other people too. Like what is your problem? Let's figure it out. Let's solve it. And I do that by research, and I do that by contacting other people, reaching out to other people who know more than I know. Relying on my coworkers, relying on the people I work with, friends, family. But yeah, it's just a problem that I need to solve. And I also rely on my faith a lot. That's essential to my life. So my resistance to adversity is built into that. That's what got me through life so far was the gym and the church.
You said the gym and the church?
Yep.
Yeah, hey, well, if you've listened to this show or anybody else listened to it, one of the things that I try to always emphasize is healthy outlets, and some find it in a way of faith or in, like you said, the gym or in expressing themselves of some sort. But hey, maybe you do all of it. You know what I mean? Because you and I, we've shared some passion for some poetry together. Actually, we've done a cameo before in life and read off some poetry together and shared some of that. And I could publicly say it now in front of everybody. I just want to tell you, thank you for being such a listener. I remember one time you told me when I was talking to you and I came to you with some of my problems and I was dealing with it. You said that people always open up to you, and you felt like you had a gift from a young age that people would open up to you. You might share anything on that, man?
No, I appreciate that, and the audio is dropping a little bit. I don't know if that's on my end or your end.
I'm sounding good over here to me, but you know how that is. Yeah. I look good when I look in the mirror too, and then that usually doesn't figure out right. So
it's across the pond, so it could happen.
Yeah.
No, but I appreciate that, and I've always had people come to me my whole life, and I've tried, a non-helping profession, and there was people coming to me, and I was just like, that's what I'm supposed to do, and felt called to it, and just keeps happening. It's always happening.
Yeah, so, no, it does, and I know you. I know you're. That's your passion. That's what you do in life. You help people. That's what he is. Everyone, a professional helper to people, and also a personal one as well, and a great friend and somebody to listen to. But what's some of the like you said, what worked for you, right? Like with faith and obviously community. and trying to maintain positive through the resistance that comes your way. But what is some like maybe some advice that you've seen that maybe doesn't work for you, but that you've helped other people with, and since that so many people come to you?
Yeah, you breaking up at the end there. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. All right. Sorry, everybody. Technology. We're talking from the other side of the world, so hey, it's a free platform, so we get what we pay for. And I don't do ads or subscriptions, so there you go. You get what you pay for. No, but I was saying just some of the things that you've advised others on. I know one thing
Mm.
that you emphasized to me, and we helped each other with, was writing and just expressing things. But what's some advice or some consistent guidance, if you will, that you give others when they come to you and they're dealing with some hardship?
I think one of the things I always emphasize is, just using your resources. You know, just what are your resources? What's available to you, and let's use those. So and I bring this back to solving problems, like whatever is at your disposal, is what is going to help you get through this. So not utilizing the things at your disposal is just going to put you at a disadvantage instead of an advantage to get through this. So and their resources are out there. It's just the choice to pursue them and to use them. I'd say that's one of the biggest things.
No, I totally dig on that, and I know for some people out there, they might not have. I mean, people closely related to me, they may not have health insurance, or they may not have the resources available to them. But for some of us who do, and I've spoken to a vast majority of a lot of public service people and people in the military and things of that nature. Uh, you do have resources. Y'all do have resources, and if nothing else, sometimes just it sounds corny, but like Googling something like on how to have healthy outlets, right? But I think what I've seen be a hang up for some is that we want like a one size fits all solution, or we want like, hey, I did yoga and everything's better now. And it's yoga can help, but it may not. It may answer everything for somebody, but it's like you got to have like I think we called it before on here a wellness omelet, right? Like a whole bunch of little things that can just add up to you staying resilient and maintaining resilience, because I think there's something there too as far as getting stagnant, right? And you get complacent and you don't want to be uncomfortable, and you kind of get soft, right? Like you lose your calluses. I know I'm kind of leading the witness, but do you see any value in what I'm saying there?
Yeah, no, I think I've always seen value in that. You said that, we know each other for a while, and that was one thing I held on to, honestly, from that you said was keeping your tank full.
Yes.
I've seen that work and not work. Like from myself too. Like, if you don't keep your tank full and then something happens, now you're in a worse place. Than if you had kept your tank full the whole time, and now you get hit. Now you're not as far down as you would have been, if you kept it full.
Yeah.
And not to leave it all on the people. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do this, you got to do that, because that's, I always bring it back to community. Like, left and right. Lean on the people close to you and make those contacts, make those relationships, make that, I call it, safety net.
Safety
You know?
net. I like that. I like that. A safety
Yeah.
net. I think we can all sometimes people have a hard time making friends, and it reminds me of and in building a community. It reminds me of what I heard. I always quote her on here, but the great Dr. Maya Angelou, when she had said to her son he was having a hard time making friends, and she said, well, in order to get a friend you got to be a friend. you know so I feel like sometimes we expect the world to maybe and we hope that they'll read our minds, or that they'll be so engaged with us they'll be able to pick up on stuff. But the fact of the matter is we're all really busy and really overwhelmed with a lot of information all the time, and we're all the stars of our own little movie inside of our heads, and sometimes we can miss cues. So it's like I've been trying to advise people lately that have been, if they're in the muck of it, if they're in a hard time, do your best to help us help you, the ones around you. And it doesn't mean clinicians or full blown chaplains and doctors and things of that nature. Maybe it's just your friends and those around you. Like speak on it, express it ahead of time, and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with something, man." I just because I'm not the smartest person, so I'm definitely not a mind reader. So I think that we could, for that community, for that safety net, for building that safety net, be a friend, like you're saying, build that community, but then also like help them help you, because sometimes you just got to be kind of blatantly obvious with it. And you were like, well, if they love me, they should know. And I see that a lot of times, like they should know, and it's like we're shoulding on each other, and shoulding on people is rude, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you can't should on anybody. I love saying that because it
yeah.
sounds like I'm saying something else, but yeah, it's fun.
No, it's all related. But I was gonna say, I think I've noticed, like, just for myself recently, it's like your openness to relationships is
Ah,
like so important. It's like I just made a conscious decision, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, like, just to be more open to people and around me, and try to make more connections. And then, like, I made connections, like 3 connections, important connections that week. And it's like, it's not a coincidence. It's like I changed my stance. You know, and then that opened up these new relationships that popping up. Came up.
yeah. And you really don't know where those relationships are going to come from, right? You just don't.
Yeah,
You don't know what the God, the universe, however you want to look at life, like we don't really have control over who comes in and out of our lives, for good and for bad. And that's with grieving, and that's with meeting new people as well. I shared something last week. I got a little intimate on my Facebook and Instagram with those who I'm friends with on there. I don't like to put my family out there just to the general public. But I remember, and I've told you about this, how about 5 or 6 years ago, I was pretty suicidal, man. Attempt, ideations, all of the above, and I felt like I was doing a whole lot of people a favor. And then 3 years ago, and this isn't to brag by any means, but 3 years ago, my little monkey, my little daughter was born. You remember when she would learn how to walk? You used to say that she looked like what's that form of martial arts? What's, that you said when she would walk around on
uh,
her knees?
yeah, yeah, Aikido.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Aikido. Yeah,
Aikido.
yeah. She figured it
Yeah.
out though. She's walking and stuff like that. She's my child, so she does a large head physically. Um, so she gets a little way down. But the whole point being
Oh,
in saying that was to express that, at that time, 5, 6 years ago, I was like, man, I'm kind of at the end of the road. This might be a good decision because I was, as the kids say, I was in my feels, right? And I
mm,
was it felt like a good decision, but I had no idea, man, that within 3 years later, I didn't wasn't planning it, right? Thanks, COVID. I got a COVID baby, but I didn't
mm,
know that human was going to come into existence. And if I had done that permanent decision back then, nobody would ever know that child. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to brag or go, look at me, everybody, I'm so blessed. Or no, it's just to say to anybody out there who feels like this is never going to get better. This is the way it's going to be. It's just going to be this or worse. I've lost everybody who matters to me. You just don't know, man, who that next person that may come into your life, and it could be in the form of, like I said, a child, or it could be in the form like I never would have met you, though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that friends too. The places I've been and places I've lived, and yeah. No, but I didn't realize it was that recent for you. That's yeah, that's a big deal. And and it's just, I'm glad we're still here, both of us.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
and not guaranteed another day. We're never guaranteed another day.
Nah, man. I mean,
And
you just never know, dude. It could be, anything. And I mean, not to rub anything. Rest in peace to him and to his family. He's a great dude. I looked up to him a whole lot. But like, look at something as simple as Bob Saget. Like this guy fell down after doing a show in Florida and bumped his head and
mm,
never woke up again. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like it could be something as simple as that. Like you just don't know. We don't know what's. It's not like we all have scans on our bodies and it's like, yeah, you have an irregular this and irregular that. Like usually we don't know we have a problem until we have a problem, then we respond. But for some of those problems,
yeah,
they're fatal, right? Um,
yeah,
and there's just a lot. I try to remember that a lot of people would want to trade places with us on our worst day, especially for those of us that live in the West and those of us who live in, we have the technology to be able to talk on a computer and things of that nature. Like, it may be hard, but this too shall pass. I know that sounds like
yeah,
happy-go-lucky talk, but it kind of keeps me going, man. Um,
yeah, yeah. No, the thing that kept me, kept me here as well is, like I was saying, my faith. Like, I believe, hate to use the J word, but I believe Jesus saved me.
No.
Like,
Hey, we're First Amendment
um,
up here, y'all. I didn't say that. And I didn't say that in the beginning. So again, this has no affiliation with anything I do professionally. This is just my personal expression and use of my First Amendment, our First Amendment. So whether it's the freedom of speech in the form of us saying bad words or what people perceive as bad words, or you expressing your faith, brother, I'm all about it because that's our First Amendment. So we defend it, so we'll represent it. And if you don't like it, you can just stop your listening right now, whoever's listening out there. But we're going to talk about things in the First Amendment: freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of all that. So, all right, I just threw that out there. There you go. But you say
thank
your
you.
faith.
I
You said
appreciate that.
you said the J word. Tell me more about the
I said
J
the
word,
J
my
word.
friend.
Yeah, I believe Jesus saved me. Like that's why I'm here, and I feel like He's got a mission for me here, so that's why I'm still here. And you know, yeah, I won't go too into it, but um, yeah, on air. But yeah, that's why I'm here. Um, and the path that's kind of before me is same one behind me. It's helping people and hopefully, well, saving lives at times.
Yeah,
I believe I have, and I will probably again in the future. So um, if I wasn't here, the other people might not be here either. So
that's
you
facts.
know,
And you're speaking facts. You're being very humble, but you definitely saved a whole lot of lives. You definitely have, man. And
yeah, I've been doing this for. I think about it recently, and I'm like, man, it's coming up on 20 years.
look at that, man. 20 years in the profession of helping people. But you said you've always kind of been like this. And then, as far as your faith, if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer if you don't, but when did you in your life, have you always had that sentiment inside you, that inclination that it's of service, it's of a calling to help people, and it was faith related, or did
um,
that change and evolve over the time?
I think my relationship, with the Lord was from when I was a child. It was when I was the first book I read was the Bible. Put it that way. Um, and I've read it
It's like
cover
a
to cover.
bestseller. So it's kind of up
Yeah.
there. It's doing pretty good in sales. I've heard.
Yeah, I've read it cover to cover my first book. So yeah, so that's my relationship in a nutshell, right there with the Lord, and so that's been always kind of, I don't want to say in the background because it's not the background, you know what I mean, but it's always the focus of my life, I would guess. I would say, so, yes, I want a job. Yes, I want to get paid. Yes, I want to, have an apartment, but ultimately, he's my boss.
That's a
So,
beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing, and we talk about spiritual health. It's just as important as physical or mental or social wellness and well being. So I applaud it, man, and I just know from being around you and knowing you for such a long time, such a long quality time, that you're an ambassador. You're a good ambassador of what you say you represent. And I think sometimes, and I've been guilty of it myself, we can throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to religion and faith because, certain scandals happen or there's bad ambassadors or people themselves have bad experiences. The way I look at it is, man, if it works for you and it's not making you a worse person, then hey, play on whatever that thing may be. If it's not hurting nobody else and it works for you, I say do it, man. But the spiritual side seems to permeate a whole lot deeper to people. In different ways. But I do think we are guilty as a society of throwing the baby out with the bathwater because there are bad ambassadors in there. But that's the same with anybody. There's good people that work at Costco and bad people, and there's good people that work at McDonald's and bad people. So it goes the same. But if it's giving you some nourishment, man, and it's giving you purpose, and it's giving you that what it sounds like a through line that runs through your entire life, and it brings forth good, I say do it, man. Do it. To anybody out there
yeah,
listening, if it works for you, it works for you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. No, it's been my whole life, and interesting part about it is, like it wasn't like somebody came and gave it to me. I mean, my mom, she raised me, in the church, but my dad was pretty much not non non did not contribute to it at all. Like he was kind of against it, and most of my family are, I wouldn't say against it, but that I call myself the white sheep.
The white sheep? That's good. So you're the pretty duckling, like the really pretty duckling. I got you. I always call myself the ugly duckling. I got you. I got you.
Because yeah, I'm pretty much, most of my family are not religious at all, and I come from New York, so I mean nobody's religious in New York. Like you got to go, to North Carolina or something, like find religious people.
Okay, so more like that Protestant, like Southern type, like vibe of it. I think what's that, like the people say, like the Church of Acts type approach to things. This Christian,
Well,
right?
it's just like I find that people live out their faith more. Like, I don't know, I shouldn't say that, but I feel like people are more religious in general in the South. They're more, they call it the Bible Belt for a reason. It's true.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it's fair, man. It's fair.
so,
I mean, you could look at
so
us.
my family being from the Northeast, like, that's not the focus. Like, I feel like Northeast is more, secular, if you want to call it, versus the South. I feel like more, the Bible Belt, it is.
Yeah, I mean they literally call it that. And we can look on census reviews. So again, this is freedom of speech, and there's nothing wrong with stating your own experience. And in your experience, you've experienced that you find the Northeast to be more secular, and you grew up in it, and you've seen the other places. So I don't think that's offensive to anybody. It's your opinion,
Yeah.
it's your experience, and that's that's a thing I try to talk about here a lot for whatever the reason is. People don't know what they don't know, and all we know is all we know. Right. And I know that sounds like real hippy dippy and everything like that, but I don't think we all realize the extent of our ignorance sometimes when it comes to things, right? To where it's like,
True.
and in the times we're living in, I love our Constitution. It's not perfect, but I haven't seen anything better in all of human history, right? And I'll die for it. But the main thing is that we can express things and have our opinions and have our experiences and not have people you don't have to take it to heart. It's people expressing their opinion. It's okay. Nothing you said was malicious. So if that offends anybody, I say you need to take a look in the mirror and think about, what does freedom of speech mean? That's your experience and you're expressing it. And all we know is what we know, and we don't know what we don't know until we do, right? Like you didn't know how it was in North Carolina or the Bible Belt or wherever it was until you went there, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was, very different, very different from what I was raised in. And everybody has a different take on religion, and there's all different types of religion, and I'm all about whatever works for you, like you were saying, like this Christianity has so many different types of churches, and like they all have different ideas, and
there's many branches to some of these trees, that's for sure. But I've over the years probably more so subscribed to, and I love him, Ziggy Marley. All the Marley boys, they all got good genes and DNA to be able to sing. But where he says that love is my religion, because I think at the center of all of them, and I have close friends that are Jewish, I have close friends that are Muslim, I have close friends that are Christian, Catholic, you name it, right? And I have some that are atheist and just agnostic and things. And I feel like love is at the center of all of it, and grace and patience, and trying to, what you're talking about, what it compels you to do, which is to do good in the world. Obviously, there's sometimes, there's bad ambassadors of that, but I think at the center of all of it, man, is to, try to be good to each other, take care of each other, and make the most impact while you can, while you're here, because, like life is a gift, whether, and it's just crazy when you really think in the whole scheme of it, how they say it's such a miracle that we're even alive. And then you think about, what if you lived in a different time, and then like the person you love or people you love didn't live in this time? Like the fact that it all came together the way it does is pretty amazing, that we're just on this floating rock in the middle of nothing. And we're just kind of just, you know what I'm saying? And it's like,
this is true.
You just got to zoom out sometimes, because we all can get caught up. And I am so guilty of that. That's why I try to say it. But I think about, I've definitely talked about it, about the Stoics, and Marcus Aurelius talking about the view from above and zooming out to be able to see, how much of a bigger picture things are going, and that we're all kind of in this together, this thing called life. And I know it sounds real hippy dippy to a lot of people, but it keeps me going and it gives me hope.
No, and to bring it back a little closer to original stuff, like I think, just life in general, just like goes by pretty quick. Like the older you get, the faster it goes. It really is. And um, we were talking earlier about you know thoughts of harming yourself, and it's like, to me, I think of it now like it's like you're either taking an earlier bus or a later bus, but you're taking a bus, and it's like, why don't take the earlier one. Like life goes by so fast, and it's already too fast. And there's so much that you can live, you can live for and experience. And I don't know, just getting on an earlier bus is just, I wouldn't recommend it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's been so many cases. I mean, you and I have both met people like this, and we've talked about this. And I've expressed this too. That the next day when I woke up and I saw the stuff laid out, I was like, "What was I about to do? I'm so glad I didn't do that." Or I look back now and go, "I'm glad that didn't happen." Or you think about the gentleman who survived jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. He said that when he had his hands on the rail, when he's about to let go and drop to what would have been his death, he said, everything in my life is not fixable, until he let go. And he said, everything in my life is fixable except for the fact that I just let go, right? I've heard of many cases where people pull the trigger and the primer doesn't go off or something malfunctions and they just immediately lose it. Like, what did I just almost do, right? They almost got on the bus early and it felt like it was the right thing to do until they got on the bus for a second and went, what did I just do? Like they have a renewed a gratitude for still being alive that they didn't have 10 seconds before that. You know what I mean? So it's just, a lot of times I guess the main thing I always try to say is don't choose a permanent solution for a temporary problem, because all of these things, including our time on and getting on these buses, is temporary. This whole thing is temporary. So don't make it permanent. Don't make it permanent.
Yeah, I just think it's important to have hope for the future. It's just, having hope is what gets you through life. And one of the guys who's a priest, actually, I watch online. He said hope is trust extended into the future. So I like that.
Hope is a
it's all
truck.
about
He says a truck.
no hope. This audio is not good. Hope is trust
Trust.
extended
Trust. Okay, got it. I was like,
extended into the future.
is it one of them electrical hybrid type trucks? Because yeah. No, it's true, and I remember General Smith, the great commandant of the Marine Corps, had said recently. He said that and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps had said this too, that they have the hope to just get up and try one more time, and then he says in the same video, I always put the link in the recordings, that if the sun's coming up tomorrow, which it is, then there's hope, and then you should have hope, right? And he even said hope is hope is a course of action, right? So it can go a long way. I know a lot of people. I used to be negative. I did on the subject and be like, man, you could hold hope and a pile of doo doo in your hand, and both equal out to the same. You might have more in your hand with the pile of poop, right? But most of the stressors that we have never even come to be. I think Twain or somebody has said that, but I know Seneca said that we suffer more often in imagination than we do in reality. And that is, as an overthinker, I'm so guilty of that. That'll kill hope real quick. You start overthinking, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's my area. That's yeah. The things that we worry about are usually the things that never happen. And the things we spend all our time worrying about, yeah, they just don't happen most of the time. You get to that point, and it's like, oh, that didn't even happen. So all the time I spent worrying about that was just a waste of energy, because it just never happened anyway.
What do you do with your worries at those times when they get to you and you start overthinking and you start kind of going down those downward spirals in your head like we all do? What do you do?
I talk to myself, which doesn't sound good when it came out like that. No, I talk. The way you talk to yourself is really important. So if you talk to yourself in an anxious way, then you will make more anxiety for yourself. And if you talk to yourself in a calm and a soothing way and a logical way, you'll decrease your anxiety. And that's a nutshell of CBT right there.
Oh yes, I'm happy you
Yeah.
said that. I always try to promote that because that's something you can literally Google, folks. You can Google the basic tenets of CBT. Some breathing exercises, some ways to kind of zoom out. Right. I'm not saying it will fix everything, but I promise it probably won't make anything worse. Right. So look at that, and that's kind of the roots of Stoicism with Epictetus. The acquired one, is, as his name translates to, saying that the chief task in life is it's based on the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer gets it from Stoicism and CBT as well. Well, yeah, they all complement each other, and they all come from and derive
Mhm.
from these old people way back in the day, because they didn't have doctors and counselors and things like that. They didn't have a mental health section of wherever the hospital was. They just had old people that were wise, and they would go and talk to them. And one of them was
Mhm.
Epictetus, where he said the chief task in life is distinguishing what we control and what we don't control, the dichotomy of control, and then focusing on
Mhm.
what we can control. You can't control most of the things that are rattling around your head causing you stress. It's just you can't control most of the things around you. But can you control your attitude? Can you control how you treat people?
Mhm.
Can you control if you've exercised today? If you have written? And I asked myself if I was crazy earlier, and we said no. You know what I mean? I posted that meme earlier. You get it. But I think, yeah, I think it's kind of healthy to talk to yourself. I think we all do it in some form or fashion. So um,
Well, if we all do, and we don't realize we do. We're all telling ourselves something, and we all believe in something. We're all telling ourselves something, and what are you telling yourself? And one of the kind of funny things I heard is, don't believe everything you tell yourself.
oh, that's real though. That's so real. That's so real. I mean, we often suffer more in imagination than reality. Like that's things that didn't come to be. So that's definitely proof right there. What you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's what you tell yourself is so important. It's about yourself and about your life and about your situation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's like I said, it either generates anxiety, generates depression, or more anxiety than depression. But depression as well can be generated by the thoughts that we think, the things we tell ourselves
Yeah.
about situations.
Yeah. No, I've had to catch myself over the last few weeks. I've really had to stop and take those deep breaths. Try to do that box breathing. Where if you don't know what box breathing is, look that stuff up. You can look at your heart rate monitor. Most people have a heart rate monitor now, or have a capability to find out one, or they could just do what doctors, nurses do, and they can count. But look up box breathing. You kind of breathe in, 2, 3, 4. You hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. But you're holding the breaths in between. So it's kind of like I know for me in marksmanship, the best way to get the shot off is right at that pause, right at that respiratory pause. And sometimes we don't embrace the pause in life, as the great Bobby Oliver said once to me. Embrace the pause. Like we need to pause sometimes in life. And I'm guilty of it, man. So there's been a few times in the last few weeks where I've getting worked up, and I'm torturing myself in my head. I've had to stop, just wherever I'm at, breathe a little bit, don't say something I'll regret, and just carry on, right? If you can't remove yourself from the situation, it reminds me of a good friend that we both knew. Well, I don't want to name names, but good guy, really good guy, and but he's moving on up in the world. But he used to say that smokers have it right, and they'd be like, "What?" We're in a group of people, and he goes, "Smokers have it right." He said because once an hour at work, they walk outside, they walk away from the workplace, they go outside, socialize with other people that share the same interests as them, and they take slow breaths in and out for at least 5 minutes, and then they go back inside. Like in that sense, besides the use of tobacco and tar in your lungs and things like that, it's a good strategy to do that once an hour, regardless. Like he say smokers have it right, and he was of the medical profession, so people go what, and then he explains it. You see that, yeah, just walk away, take some breaths if you can, and then come back to it because like I guess what I'm really trying to get at is like thoughts are going to come anyways. Like you said, they're nonstop. We can't always stop it. It's just going to be so you might as well fill them with good stuff. And if you catch yourself going down those bad rabbit holes and telling yourself the things that are doom and gloom, once you walk away and try to change the setting a little bit and move a little bit, get out of that scenery, breathe a little bit, and see if maybe it becomes better. Is there any fact, truth, substance in what I'm saying there?
Yeah, no, exactly true. I mean, like I was saying, about what you tell yourself, it works in the reverse too. Like if you tell yourself, you reframe things in a positive way, or possible way to to move forward, alternate explanation for situations and more positive light, then it will help you feel better. So it does work. It sounds too simple, too easy to be true, but when it's like all training, when you train your mind that way, to try to focus on the positive, try to you know quell those negative thoughts. It over time it will work. It's not like people try stuff sometimes, that I tell them, and they'll try it for 2 minutes and it doesn't work, and they move, they're back into whatever emotion they were in.
Yep.
But if you do it for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then you do it, every day for a week, that's different than trying it for 2 minutes.
No, I love it, and what came to my mind when you were saying that was like people say about yoga, or they say about their faith, that they're practicing their faith, and they're doing their yoga practice, like they're practicing. Like it's not like you're perfect automatically. None of us are ever, but it's actually putting ourselves in a position to where we can get better at it. And we know our lazy brains as humans, we're seeking comfort. So anytime it feels a little bit uncomfortable, we're like, nope, don't want to do this, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's easier to just watch YouTube, binge YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it sometimes,
But there's
even though
some
I
good
don't pay
stuff up
for
there
it.
too. Yeah, no, it gets you an ad. Well, I know in your part of the world, I had to start paying for it because I was waking up my baby. She'd be asleep and they'd be like, "Hodo, yeah," and I'd be like, "Oh man, I can't. I gotta start paying for this." So, because the ads out there in the other side of the world was waking up the baby. When I put on some, she'd fall asleep to like a lullaby, and then it'd be, "Oh," and it'd be a commercial for coffee because it was really enthusiastic. I love Japan ads, right? Um, I also I want to highlight something I've been sharing recently, and this it's a brand new study and report that came out from Harvard, and this whole movement that one of their agencies is trying to do. It's the Harvard Graduate School on Education, but they want to make it Making Caring Common project. And they have an article, and you can look this up for free, folks. It's called On Edge, Understanding and Preventing Young Adults' Mental Health Challenges, right? Because we're all challenged, right? But it's really, I don't want to say crazy by any means, but it's surprising that right now with some of our young adults, which is like the age range between 18 to 25, they have higher rates of depression, anxiety, and ideations and things of that nature than do the teens that are younger than them and the older generation ahead of them. So one of the things that they're saying is, as a result of the pandemic, and people feeling lonely, that they encourage, and I talk about the healthy outlets, but it says right here that engaging more young people in caring for others and in high quality service of various kinds can, for example, both alleviate loneliness and provide meaning and purpose. I wrote down next to it in my notes, and I've shared this on social media a few times, but volunteering with old folks, with young folks, if you can help coaching or something, sports, kids. We were talking about poetry. We were talking about some of the arts. I try. I didn't say I was good at it, but I dabble in stand-up comedy and things of that nature, and doing podcasts and stuff. But it's something of healthy outlets and having an otherness, and it can erode that loneliness you have in you, which can cause depression because humans need humans. You need that network. You need that safety net, as Rob was, as we've always been trying to say. But you don't
Yeah,
want to.
I didn't know all that. I didn't know
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, it's good that, like, just healthy outlets. It can eliminate the loneliness that people feel. What do you think about that?
No, I didn't know about the stats on that, but the younger, the teens, were actually a lesser rate than those a little older.
Yeah, it blew my
But
mind
I was just
because go ahead.
I was just gonna say the thing that I thought of was when you were saying that, when you said Harvard, was that's where I go for my information. So like, if I like people just Google stuff, and like you were saying before, like if you Googled CBT, like um, yeah, will you get information? But will you get the information that I would like you to get? Probably not. Like so,
True,
if
true.
you go to the Beck Institute, like Beck Institute is where Aaron Beck, which is the founder of CBT, like his daughter took on his thing, and then those after her, and so anyway, so information where you're getting it from, like, is what I was thinking. So like Harvard study, that's pretty solid. Like you can trust that, but going on the internet and just any random person um, talking about CBT, for example, like I've seen some good stuff and I've seen some not some good stuff.
No, I appreciate you cleaning that
So
up, man. Thank you, because I don't, I never want to lead anybody to bad guidance, but there's some credible, there's a credible source right there. This making caring common, they're doing some good stuff. But I will read the stat where it says the recent data suggests that the young adults of Generation Z are experiencing emotional struggles at alarming rates. While the emotional struggles of teens have been in the national spotlight since the pandemic, and this attention has been vital, young adults are 18 to 25 report roughly twice the rates of anxiety and depression as do teens. So, and for a lot of it is feeling lonely. Uh, it says unmoored, directionless, and they worry about financial security and the whole rat race of achieving to achieve. So, I say that I illuminate that particular thing, and I'll put the link into the show notes of this. So if y'all want to read it for yourself, but engaging more young people in caring for others and in high quality service of various kinds can, for example, both alleviate loneliness and provide meaning and purpose. And I think that's, whether it's your faith or whether it's your service to something bigger than you. For me, the Constitution is a spiritual thing because it's something bigger than me, and it keeps me. It gives me purpose to want to protect and defend that while I have the privilege to be able to do so. But to serve others, to go external, because I think when we go internal, we do get lonely, we do get sad, and I know everyone's different. So somebody can hear this and go, "Oh, Cam's just spitting off his Cam philosophy, and that's what works for him." You're right, I am, and I'm trying to share it because maybe it works for somebody else. Because I know I'm pretty weird, but I can't be that weird. It's got to help somebody else out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, it's Harvard's pretty good. I mean, like I was saying, where you get your information from, is important. And you go to any of the Ivy League schools, I mean, they got to be right about something, right?
Yeah. I mean, they might as well, as much as they charge for people's tuition. So,
Right, right,
something good got to come of it, right?
right. I was gonna say about that. You mentioned that about the older people too. Like, I think it's so important to try to grab some wisdom from older people. I I'm getting pretty old myself, but but I still do that. I will always do that. I think that's invaluable, and then part of community too.
No, for sure. No, and we need it. We need it. People need people, and like the little chant I used to always try to tell people, like it or not, we're all we got, and we're all in this together. So we may as well like help each other and try to be positive and try to be a help and not a hurt. And but I just want to stress again to anybody out there hurting, speak up, reach out to people. People aren't mind readers. They have good intentions. They want to help people, but we're all trapped inside of our own little minds, sometimes. So we may not see other people hurting around us, and it may not be intentional. It just may be the circumstances that we're in. So do everyone a favor and help them help you, because I guarantee you, I know for a fact, the two people you're hearing right now, they want to help you. So if you reach out, maybe that could happen. You know what I mean? But we don't know what we don't know. We don't know until we try something. And none of the things that we've recommended on here are going to fix everything or going to make everything perfect, but they might not make anything worse. So why not give it a try? Why not have that open mind and be open to others and open to maybe making things better? What you say about that, my friend?
Yeah. And I would say add to that what we always say is that uh, if you do reach out and it doesn't work out and it doesn't you don't get the help you need, you don't stop at that person, that one person that you reached out to that it didn't work out. Keep trying, reach out again to somebody else. Try somebody else, because I mean, honestly, therapy is a little like dating. It's like matchmaking. It's like sometimes it's not a good match, and then you just got to move on to the next one and try to get a good match.
But you can't throw the
And
baby out with the bathwater and say, "Oh, therapy all sucks," because maybe you talked to a person that wasn't for you, or maybe they weren't good at it, right?
right, right, yeah, that we all, all therapists, do things a different way. They come from a different background. They have different, we all have biases. We all have different schools of training and thought, and and we're all different people. So we're gonna do it different,
For sure.
So if this person is not for you and it did not help you, that doesn't mean that the next person, is not gonna be there for you and help you. if we did that, we'd all just marry the first person we dated, right?
Yeah,
So
no, that's for sure. There's so much
we're not
value
going
in
to do
that.
that.
No, no. I mean, most won't, right? I mean, you wouldn't if you got sick at one McDonald's. Don't think you're gonna ever give up eating French fries from McDonald's. Most of us are gonna go to a different McDonald's, a different establishment. You know what I'm saying? But the idea is to find that nourishment. But also, don't go one
Yeah,
time and do a whole data dump. I've seen this too happen with people. They go one time,
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
they stir
yeah.
everything up in their minds and in their souls and in their hearts, and they're like, "It sucked. I don't want to go back." But it's like, oh, you need to follow on after that. I've seen that happen. I've done that before, to be honest. Back in my younger years, when I was
Yeah,
like, therapy sucks. I went one time and I felt bad. Maybe the first time you
yeah,
won't feel so perfect, right? It's a process, it's a practice.
and then I think about, as a helping professional on the other side, what happened to them? Where'd they go? Like what I know all these issues that they have, and they dumped on me, and now they're gone. So please don't do that to me.
Yeah, no, yeah, because then you're sitting there like, well, I really need to talk to them again. I hope they're doing okay. But then they're already in their own head saying, this sucks. I didn't fix everything. And probably one pill won't fix everything, and one session with somebody won't. But it may just put you in a line and put you on a track to be able to make things a little bit better for, the bit by bit, brick by brick. I've said this many times. People probably tired of hearing it, but it just helps me go on. But Rome wasn't built overnight. It also didn't fall apart overnight. It was a brick by brick build up and decay. So we're building anyway. We might as
Yeah,
well be building something good and not decaying, right?
yeah, and it's the same in the gym, right? I
That's
mean, if
right.
we go say we're going to work out once and then never do it again, like is that going to work?
Nope.
No.
I think some people think that about dental hygiene sometimes. I think they brush their teeth one time for the whole week. They're good. That's not true, folks. That's why people probably standing and backing up from you and everything. Might want to do some Listerine strips and maybe brush a little once, twice a day. But you can't just brush your teeth one time and expect to have good breath. It just ain't gonna happen. Some people trying it
Yes,
though.
that's why you're safer on this podcast that way, though.
That's right. That's right. We're maintaining a healthy distance. Everybody got to deal with my loud mouth, but not my bad breath. So you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Uh, my brother, man, it's been great catching up with you, and I want to tell you thank you again for
You too.
as the Golden Girls say, thank you for being a friend. You know what I'm saying? It's a great song. Thank you for being a friend. But thank you for what you do and being a good ambassador of your faith and just being a good human man and the good you try to do all over this whole world for people that are really struggling and trying out there, man. Mr. D, we really, really appreciate you, man. I just want to ask if you knew of somebody, and I did this experiment before we wrote it, but if someone right now were thinking about taking their life or hurting someone else or making quote unquote a permanent decision for a temporary circumstance right now, tonight, today, while they're listening to this, what would you tell them?
I tell them to reach out, and keep reaching out until you get some kind of help, and and do whatever you can that worked before and for you, and but just keep reaching out, whether it's a phone call, whether it's walking across the street to your neighbor, or however it is that you need to get yourself help. Just do that, and don't quit on the first attempt.
No, no. I love it, man. That is sound wisdom and sound guidance and from a pure, genuine heart. I know that, or else I don't usually talk to people that don't have genuine hearts, right? I try not to.
Yeah,
But I appreciate you for being a good human man, and thank you for sharing your time. And you welcome back on here anytime if over the next few weeks you read some more Harvard studies and you're like, hey, I want to talk about that. But no, it's good to bring credible sources to people because again, we don't know what we don't know. So I just thank you for all you do and thank you for your time today.
no, thank you for having me on here. It's good talking to you again, and we should definitely talk again soon, even off air.
No, I'm all about it, man. I'm actually going to press pause on this recording so we can do that one-on-one. But for everyone listening right
Yeah.
now, thank y'all for tuning in. And like I always say, if you want to be a guest on here, don't hesitate to reach out if you got a subject or something. But I just want y'all to remember all the things that Mr. D has said today and the things we always try to talk about on here, which is remain resilient, staying in the fight, keep moving forward. What Sam Cooke say? Keep moving on, right? Stay in the fight, man. Try it. Just one more try. Give us a chance. Give everyone else a chance to try to help you and help yourself. Maybe you can make this message and help someone else one day. You never know. You got anything to leave with, Rob? Oh, Big D, Big Mr. D. You got anything to leave with?
Just like you said, love is important, and it's hard to do. It's much easier to be hating on people than loving on people.
Ain't that the truth? Hey, brother, thank you for your time. And all of y'all out there, just remember, we are sponsored by Nobody, baby. Y'all be good, make good choices, be there for each other.